Hello, good morning, good day. Labdien, labrit. Today we have special guest from Italy, from North Italy city, Ravenna, Italy. Today is presenter is Paolo Morini, and we talk about our school project, Ravenna Liepaja collaboration, school year 2023 and 2024, and I give speech word for Paulo, please.
Okay, thank you. And I switch on my camera so you can see me.
No yet. Could you
Not yet, yet.
share the presentation,
Yeah.
please?
Okay, you see me? Can you see me?
Yeah, I saw myself and you, but not see technically presentation.
Okay, now I'm going to upload the presentation, but just to introduce myself,
Okay.
I am Paolo Morini. I live in Ravenna in Italy, and I am not an astronomer. I am an amateur astronomer, and I have an astronomy club here in Ravenna that runs the local planetarium. And so my astronomy club last year got his first 50 years of active life, and we made a book, and this is the cover of the book. And in the first pages of the book, in the introduction, in the first steps of the history of my astronomy club. Okay, on the right, myself at the beginning of the 70s with my first astronomical telescope. And from there on, my activity as an amateur has never stopped. But going along the year, I graduated in mechanical engineering. And so I make a totally different job today. And yeah, going back to my presentation.
Could you please put for all screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, we saw it. We saw it. Yes, it's fine.
Okay, and this presentation is around the school project between Liepaja Rainis School and the Liceo Scientifico Oriani of Ravenna, with the collaboration of the local planetarium and of my astronomy club. And the collaboration has moved its first steps thanks to the will of the teachers that exchange a visit through the Ravenna school to the school in Liepaja. And in Italy, we have a protocol named PCTO. It is an acronym that means to offer to the students an experience similar to work in real life, with challenges, more answers for the same questions, and requiring problem-solving skills. And we set up an astronomy course that has the goal to bring the students to be the main players during the International Planetaria Day. And during this day, we open the planetarium to the public completely for free. And we give short lectures of general astronomy under the dome of the planetarium. And from there on are the students that prepare themselves to give these lectures for the public. And of course, to arrive to this goal, there are some steps to go through. And one of these steps is the experience, the Eratosthenes experience. It is an experience that requires a mix of knowledge, organization, and practical skills. And through this experience, we can measure or at least make a reasonable estimation of the dimension of our planet, the diameter of the Earth. And the experience has been run for the first time in February of the last year, involving crews in Ravenna and Liepaja. The biggest problem, needless to say, was to find a Saturday morning with sunny weather in both locations. This was one of the biggest problems to be solved. And you can see here the two crew in action, measuring on the near to the plumb line is my friend Alberto Bernardo, a teacher of the school in Ravenna, and this is Martins, well known.
Yes.
And, okay, of course, this is a joke, of course. When you need good weather, you will have everything against you. So, for example, for lunar eclipse, comet, and planetary alignment and northern lights, where I live, the sky is always cloudy. And this was unlucky for this year. In this year, the experience has been done in Ravenna by two girls, Valentina and Maria Carla. And in Liepaja, the weather was horrible for a long time. Here we had a long period of bad weather. And so we compared our observation with one observation made by Stellarium set for Liepaja coordinates. And we measured practically the height of the sun in Ravenna and compare with the calculated height of the sun in Liepaja through Stellarium. Okay, going a bit back, Eratosthenes was a Greek scientific writer, astronomer, and poet, and who had the idea, but the idea was in the air at the time, to measure the size of Earth. He didn't get a telescope, sextants, theodolites, computer, nor the mathematics. Differential calculus was established by Newton and Leibniz 2000 years later. And also the trigonometry was expecting for his founder, Hipparchus, in 190 before Christ. So more or less, Eratosthenes was died, Hipparchus born 4 years later, and Hipparchus established trigonometry. But how did Eratosthenes was able to make this measurement? And this is very intriguing. And probably some of you who are listening us is trying to remember what was the general knowledge of Earth's shape in that era. We are speaking of the 3rd century before Christ. And some other could have the doubt if ancient astronomer knew that the Earth's shape was approximately a sphere. Today there is a movement for the flat Earth, and its affiliated claim that Earth is flat and collect argument to prove this. Useless to say it's a complete nonsense, and the discussion has nothing to do with science. In the 5th century before Christ, so well before Eratosthenes, ancient philosopher Empedocles and Anaxagoras offered arguments for the spherical shape of the Earth. For example, during a lunar eclipse, when the Earth is between the Sun and the Moon, they identified that the shadow edge was always circular, and probably only a sphere could project this kind of shadow. Nobody has witnessed a moon eclipse generated by a flat Earth. And other observational evidence for spherical Earth, for example, is the sinking appearance. When you see a ship that go far from you on the sea, the ship seems to sink in the water. but really the ship disappears behind the curvature of the Earth. And if the Earth would be flat, the shape of the ship would be smaller, but with exactly the same shape. Okay. Sadly, my wife teaches in school, and she witnessed to me that in many history school books, you can read that Columbus sailed toward the west in 1492 to prove that the Earth was not flat. And trust me, the King of Spain, who paid for the expedition, wanted to hunt for gold and treasures to maintain his power and feed his army. He wouldn't have spent a cent for this, to check this. So we can relax about this topic and assume that the Earth is spherical, and this is was Eratosthenes was really was sure of this. But let's go back to the experience of Eratosthenes. Eratosthenes knew that in the location of Siene, now the modern Aswan, he lived in Alexandria. He was the chief of the Alexandria Library. And he knew that on the summer solstice in Siene, in Aswan, people could look the sun reflected in the water in the wells. So you could look inside the wells and see in the far water surface the sun reflected. So this means that the sun was perpendicular to the surface of the Earth. It was at in its zenithal point. And so the idea of Eratosthenes, what was if I can measure the height of the sun, the distance of the sun from the zenith in Alexandria location, I can measure that it is not on the zenith, just over my head, but it forms an angle with the vertical. Eratosthenes was very clever and created a procedure to measure Earth diameter, just measuring the length of the shadow projected by a vertical element, a stick, a pole, or an obelisk of known height. And we will check out this method and make the measurement on our own, involving our schools. Okay, this is a joke. Eratosthenes found way to measure the Earth with obelisks, and this guy said, "Oh, how many obelisks you need to circle the Earth?" Okay, Eratosthenes assumed that the sun was very far from the Earth. This is true. So distant that the light rays from the sun were practically parallel to each other. And he considered that the Earth had a spherical shape. He measured an inclination difference of 7.2 degrees, the distance from the vertical in Alexandria to the sun, measuring the shadow. We will see how you can do that. And so for a geometric similarity, this angle is the same angle of the two rays of the Earth that connect the two locations. And so this angle, 7/2 degrees, is 1/5. You need 50 of this angle to make a complete angle. And luckily, Eratosthenes knew the distance from the two locations measured along a north-south line. Actually, Alexandrian and the Swan are not have not the same longitude, but for the approximation of the time, he assumed that, and so he knew that 5,000 stadia it was the distance. And so if this angle, if you need 50 of this angle to cover the complete turn of the Earth, in the same way, you need 50 times this distance to cover all the Earth. And so you obtained that 5,000 by 50, you obtained a measure of 250,000 of stadium. It is the length of a meridian. And this is the first scientific measurement of the Earth's circumference. Okay, at the time, the distance were measured in steps, so it was not easy to make measurement on the surface of the Earth. And also the unit that Eratosthenes used, the stadium, is very uncertain because from ancient document range from 154 to 2015 meters. According to the most shared opinion, the stadium used by Eratosthenes was 185 meters. So the result was a terrestrial circumference of 46,000. It is a bit higher than the real measure, but it was a very good approximation. According to other historical researchers, Eratosthenes came much closer because he used a stadium of 157 meters, bringing a measure of almost 40,000 kilometers. It is a data of disconcerting relevance. It is very, very near to the reality. Okay, and as we told, also the north-south alignment of the two locations was not perfect. Okay, but let's go to our experience. We'll pretend that our location, Ravenna and Liepaja, stay on the same meridian, and we need the real distance along a meridian. Okay, now we can do that with Google Earth, for example. It is very simple. And the longitude difference of the two locations can be cancelled by making the measurement of the height of the sun at the local noon on each location. So there is a 40-minute difference from Liepaja to Ravenna to have the solar noon, the true noon, the sun in the highest point of the apparent orbit, apparent trajectory. And this is a very short time, so the sun doesn't change much its position. And this is the trick. This is the sun in the meridian of Ravenna and the sun in the meridian of Liepaja. Of course, we make the measurement not in the same time, but in a time step of 40 minutes, more or less. And to know the distance along the meridian, okay, we take Google Earth. We know, for example, that Ravenna is in the same latitude of Belgrade in Serbia, and more or less is the same longitude of Liepaja. So this segment is 1,328 kilometers, is the distance to be considered from the two locations. And so, starting really with the measure, okay, Eratosthenes was alone, and he was able to make his measurement with one shot, with a single observation. because he compares the data with the location as Swan, and he knew that the sun was vertical, was at the zenith. In our case, we need two stations that each station make its measurement. Of course, we need the sun in the sky because we need that the sun must cast a shadow of object, and we need to plan, and we will need to plan for a clear and sunny day in Ravenna and in Liepaja. And a software, a weather forecast like clear outside can help. There is a forecast of 1 week. And of course, in our schedule, we need to make the experience on Saturday for school organization. So the most day you have at disposal, and it will be easier to find a good day for both stations. And of course, at which local time every station must to make the measurement. We can check, for example, with there is an organization of the United States, NOAA. You put the coordinate of your location and you get an ephemeris, a sun ephemeris for all the year. And for example, there is a table for each day of the year. You have the exact local time, hour, minutes, and second at which the sun transit the meridian, the local meridian. And this is the moment during which make the measurement. Okay, we have to get the sun angle. Of course, we have Eratosthenes had a pole with known height. He measured the shadow, and with a simple formula from trigonometry, he measured the sun angle, this angle. Okay, and the difference in the sun height in Ravenna and Liepaja compared to the complete circle is the same ratio of Ravenna-Liepaja distance along the meridian, the one we get from Google Earth, and the length of Earth's circumference. And this is the part we have to calculate with our observation. We assume that the Earth is a perfect sphere. This is not exactly true because the equator radius is 21 kilometers more than polar one, but the difference is very, very small. We did the experience on 4th February of 2023. And how we did it? We take a tripod. This is a cardboard. We measure the height of the shadow projected by this cardboard here, and we had a plumb line and to set a meter, a flexible meter, to take the measurement and measure this height from here to the ground, and from the end of the plumb line to the end of the shadow, we have the two quantity needed. This was the setup in Liepaja. It works perfectly. It is a wood base with a stick. The stick is of known height, and here girls and boys were taking the measurement on the ground. Okay, and we collect the result of the observation. These are the crew in Ravenna school, the setup in Liepaja. And we put all the measure in an Excel file, and the final calculation give us an Earth radius of almost 5,900 kilometers. It is smaller, so we have shortened the Earth radius Okay, the measure was not perfect, but it was a very good warm-up for other observation. Some detail, some picture of our device. This is a photographic tripod. This is the end of the plumb line. We upload a time server to get the Greenwich time and the coordinate of the location with a reasonable precision. We found that the edge of the shadow projected by an object, it is not so sharp and clear as we could imagine, but the reason is that the sun is not a point, but an extended object. And so there is a penumbral zone, and so there is an uncertainty in measuring the length of the shadow. And of course, the higher the sun, the shorter the penumbra. But this is a source of error. And we have made some attempt, and we have found that the precision is far more better if we use a device called the mnemonic hole. You need an opaque object, say a cardboard, and to make a hole 1 centimeter diameter, more or less, and you are going to measure the center of the spotlight. And this is far more precision that to guess the end of the shadow. And we found, for example, that from the measure made by Valentina and Maria Carla this year, the error through the ephemeris value of stellarium was 0.3%. The year before, with the classical shadow experience, the error was 2.4%. So it is this method, very simple, but gives a good achievement. Okay, and just to go toward the end of our talk, we told that you need to measure the sun at local noon in the same day, because the sun moves along the background of the stars, seems to round around us in one complete turn in 1 year. So one day to the other day, the height of the sun at noon is different. So you can take, you are forced to take measure on the same day. The philosopher Posidonius suggested to measure the Earth on the same way, but using a star instead of the sun. And he made this experience with the Canopus star. He made quite a big error because of the refraction of the atmosphere. It was an unknown element at the time. But anyway, the idea is very good because if you measure the height of the star when crossing the meridian now, in a month, in 1 year, you will not find any difference. You need years, many years, to measure difference that can be achieved with a simple instrument, because there is the phenomenon, you know, the equinox precession, is discovered by Hipparchus, but that need many years to give a sensitive difference. So with the Posidonius method, using a star, of course, we cannot use the shadow method of or the mnemonic hole, because the star has a very small light, and we need an instrument, a telescope with some angle measurement device, or a sextant. It is something that you cannot assemble from scraps, like we do with the Eratosthenes pole we have put together, but can be organized if in the observing group there is an amateur astronomer this could be the specialist to provide the measurement instrument. And of course, another problem to be solved is that the work must be made after sunset at night. And so it is not the most comfortable time to work with a classroom or young students. But we are working around, and we stay tuned around this next step. Probably next year, we will make some attempt in this direction. And okay, of course, we are at the end of my short lecture, and I can wish you sunny days, of course, for the next Eratosthenes experience. And that's all. Thank you so much.
Grazie mille for this. Thank you very much for presentation.
Thank you.
It's quite interesting and great. Maybe somebody from our pupils from Liepaja side and from Latvia have some kind of questions. For example, Davis and Keita, maybe you can ask something for more involved in our discussion. Answers and question part, please. So Keita, maybe you have some questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
But you be ready for making this second method, what Paolo tell about measure looking using this stars principles. Technically, okay. Technically, we are making this because we have a telescope in our school, and we just need to involve more active astronomy enthusiast pupils. But I think it's not problem. We can this manage. Maybe Davis has some question. Please use this possibility.
No, I don't have.
You don't have. Okay, I have questions in your own experience, like how hard or how easy is involved in astronomy lectures or activities from Ravenna side, the pupils or the young people, how they are active involved in these activities.
Yeah, but one of the main activities of the planetarium is to offer activity to the schools. So we have many schools along the year that come in the planetarium. They can use the dome for a presentation of the starry sky, and they also experience hands-on experience to. They build a small instrument, cutting paper with paper and glue and a pin. They make sextants, theodolite, and they are enthusiasts of this. Now we are with the School of Alberto. Girls and boys are bit more grown up. The age range is 14, 18 years, and we are trying to push them to be involved in some experience a bit more complex. For example, this one, the night measure of the age of the star can be quite challenging and can be very interesting. And so we try. Our idea along the year is to stimulate the creation of something like an astronomy club inside the school. So not only during the lesson time to witness to presentation and so, but also to create some activity in the spare time. This is a proposal. And okay, we are working in that direction. And
okay, very good. Thanks for explanation for future activities. From Latvian side, for example, I can share my own experience. We have quite good collaboration with Latvian Astronomy Society. It can be correct translating. So, and they have astronomy professional enthusiasts who making in summer season, summer holidays. For example, this year happening not far away from Liepaja city. It's happening like Eagle Astronomy Camp for 3 days. When we involve, for example, enthusiast lectures from different kind background astronomy topics. And for example, in the days we have, for example, managing the lectures, activities practically. For example, we observe being previously times the stars or some kind meteor shower. What's happening in these dates? Making measures at the night, of course, to bring with self the telescopes, different kind models, and we making observation for all night, and then we a little bit sleeping and continue for next 2 days. It's quite popular actually. There can be around enjoying around 50 till 100 members, but usually it's happening around involve about 50 or 16 people who is really astronomer enthusiasts who enjoy it and take fully time participation. I just share their own experience, and this year, of course, is happening in beginning days of August. And I probably suggest maybe in Italy, somewhere to people is also organizing this kind camp, not only for focus for pupils, but also from different ages, peoples from society hours. Yeah.
Something like a star party, a star fest.
Yes, star party. Yeah, exactly. We give a shout out for Anna Ginter. She making a star party events few years ago, but at the moment this project is stopped. Different kind of reason, but I hope this year Anna Ginter is try to managing.
Okay, I wait tons of pictures if if you witness the present. This, we are very.
I hope, yeah, we definitely sending the pictures and some kind of videos.
It could be inspiring
for sharing, reason.
Okay.
Okay, we can finishing this last lecture and last lesson of this year, learning educational year, and we, of course, trying to focus for next measure method. What did you explain for us? Thank you, everybody, for attention to share this time with and we hope you learn something new from astronomers, from enthusiasts from around the Europe, and we keeping this movement forwarding. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Paolo Morini, for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Martins. Thank very much to all people attending. Thank you so much. We stay tuned for other experiences.
Of course. Thank you very much.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Goodbye.
Bye. Goodbye.